My latest book is The Art of Batting. It delves deep into how the best players ever made their runs. Get your copy today.
Welcome to Morning Glory. Special guest star here, Cheyenne. Look, I could touch him. I like touching people on the face when they're on camera because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it. We've been watching the first session, of course. We've got... we'll bring up the predictor in a moment that we found on Rushline, which has that. But your thoughts on the first session? I thought that when Boland bowled well, they looked like they had a chance again, and they're probably a bit unlucky not to get a second wicket. But they're a long way behind. Right? They're like a massive way behind in this test.
Exactly. I think Australia are massively behind in this game right now. I think Starc was bowling pretty well. But outside of that, I don't think they were able to trouble them as much. I know Boland bowled some good deliveries and everything. And his second spell was a lot better. But that first spell, I think, again, it was England who got away with it. After that Crawley wicket, I think they've won the session quite comfortably.
I think there was probably I think Australia bowled well enough to get 2 wickets.
Yeah.
So you'd say they're maybe a tiny bit unlucky not to get the second wicket. But at the same time, they haven't bowled well enough to get 3 or 4.
Agreed, completely. And they've leaked the runs out as well. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not even like they've kept the squeeze on, not allowed the runs. Like if we compare that with how England bowled in that first session yesterday.
Yep.
In their first innings, the first 10 overs, they only went for 15 runs. So I don't think Australia were able to do that at all with the ball. I think that makes sense. They don't have 2 of their best bowlers, so it's easier. It's way harder to put pressure on the English batters. And whenever you bowl them half volleys, they'll drive you. They'll take runs off that. I think that's the big difference with Bazball coming in.
I thought also Duckett was really good at moving the ball square. On the offside and finding gaps, and just softening his hands when he needed to find runs and everything else. I thought there was quite a few times where that worked very, very well. So we've got the Rushline win predictor up here. It has Australia at a 32% chance. I don't know if I'm 100% with the AI on that one.
Yeah, I think 32%.
I mean, maybe it's factoring in that they should have got a wicket there, but they're a long way behind in this game at the moment. England at 66% chance seems.
Yeah, and they still have to bat last. So the wicket might just flatten out, but you never know.
It might be when the wicket is best to bat on at this stage, because this is not like the Indian pitch, is it?
Yeah, it's much different from that, and in a sense where I think that wicket got quite easy to bat on towards the second half of day 2. And then day 3 was a pretty good one for batting. I think even that pitch, I think some of the balls were, acting up a bit, but more or less that got easier to bat on. But I think the 4th innings was not so easy. If you remember the 4th innings of that game, the evening when Australia came into bat, they lost a lot of, they lost 3 wickets that time. And, I think sometimes variable bounce is also there. And even in this over, in this session, we've seen that with Boland, right?
Well, we've seen Pope get hit. On the thumb and the arm. We obviously saw Duckett. I mean, that looked like a really bad hit to me, the Duckett one. So we're definitely seeing some kind of variable bounce.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is it feels like at the moment, and maybe this is just his last spell, but the Boland has maybe got the most lateral movement we've seen in this match. The ball seems to be really moving around in a way that yesterday when we saw 19 wickets, we didn't see as much.
Exactly. And I think yesterday Boland's first spell was way off. Today, I think I know he went for runs again in the first spell, but the second spell, it looked a lot more like the Boland that we know.
Yeah.
He was testing both the outside edge and the inside edge as we usually see with him. And I think that's the special ability that he brings through, right?
It'd be interesting to see after lunch too, if they have the ability to seam the ball in both directions. And also from both ends, as in, not that Starc has to seam it as much because he won't, but is there a chance of, I think what Australia need more than anything is just 2 bowlers bowling well at the same time.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm not sure we've seen that. Doggett just hasn't looked great in this innings. Starc looked really good, but Boland didn't start brilliantly. Now Boland's bowling really good, but
he doesn't have backup on the other
so if they can do that, they can build some more pressure up. But realistically, they have to get another 9 wickets for 140 to 150 runs to even stay sort of within touching distance.
Exactly.
If England get to more than 250 in front, it's tough.
And England's bowling attack, dude, their 5th bowler is Ben Stokes.
Yeah.
What more to even say?
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we'll get to some questions. We know that there is a a problem with the Wi-Fi. We're doing the best we can. I couldn't even get the Wi-Fi to work at this hotel this morning. If it gets really bad, we'll try and link it up to Cheyenne's phone and see if we can get something a little bit better. God, I can't.
The team will change because Hazlewood and Cummins will come back in.
Yeah, I just want to make it bigger so we can read the person. Is it each one? Sorry, we're so far away from this computer, we can barely see it. Yeah, I mean, no one's not saying the Australian team won't change. And also, I would have thought, even if Cummins and Hazlewood had played, this is still the test match that England were best suited to play in because they brought an attack that is almost perfectly suited for this pitch, right? Whereas I would say that the Australian attack, not that it would have been bad for this pitch, but is more suited everywhere else than it is particularly here. So there was always a chance of that happening. That doesn't mean Australia doesn't have questions, though. Then it's still not, like, if Cummins and Hazlewood come back in, like Cummins may not come in for the next test. Boland's bowled one good spell out of, 4 attempts in this test match?
Yeah, exactly. I think if both Cummins and Hazlewood come in, it would be interesting, but even then, see, Starc is bowling pretty well. We don't know, Hazlewood is probably not going to play the next game as well, and we don't really know when Cummins is going to come back in. So what if England take an advantage by that time? So this game will be pretty important, although we've seen Australia come back even after losing the first match the last time against India.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary that if they win this, they're going to, go ahead and win the series. But yeah, I think first of all, they need to really in this game try and slow things down, at least. For the next 10, 12 overs, they have to keep the runs in check. Really.
What were they at? They've actually scored okay, England, without overly attacking. I know Duckett's occasionally come down the crease to whack one, but I wouldn't have thought, they were going to about 4.1 runs and over last time I checked, right? So I think it's, what are they? 59 after, was it 13 overs? 15 overs. Yeah. So they're going at about 4 runs and over.
Yeah.
That's still a really good rate, as if they could do that without taking huge risks.
Yeah.
If this flattens out on day 3, can Australia chase 300 plus?
I am not so sure about that. Looking at the Australian batting yesterday, I really don't know, because this wicket is not that difficult to bat on, right? It's not the sort of Perth pitch that we saw last year, and Australia's batting has been struggling quite a bit now for some time. And I think a lot of it will depend on the entry points that Smith and Head get.
Yeah.
If they get to come in after the 30th over, even if they don't have a lot of runs, then I think there's a game at hand and we can have something. But I think if the chase is over 300, with everything we know about kind of this Australian batting lineup of recent time, even if the pitch flattens out, I just don't think you'd have the confidence. Even if you take England's bowling attack out of it, just the way that Australia's been batting for a long period of time and the way they looked in the first innings, it wasn't just that they struggled with the pace and some of the good bowling from England. They also looked panicked with how to score. Yeah. They were trying to run each other out half the time, right? I don't think that's what I'm saying. Anything over 250. Now, all this depends on what kind of pitch flattens out, because if it flattens out like it did on day 2 and 3 last time in against India, that's a very different kind of pitch. True.
Right? But if it just flattens out normally, then I don't think I see Australia suddenly being able to chase something that big.
300 is, I think, even if we don't have any idea about the pitch, I don't really know how confident about I am. Australia chasing 300 runs.
I mean, you're right. If they can actually get some runs out of the top 3, things change quite a bit.
Even if they don't get runs, just get balls, so that Travis Head and Steve Smith can really cash in. I think those are the two really the main players that can actually make sure that they chase 300.
How many balls does Steve Smith need before he comes in? When's the optimal time to unleash the smudge?
21st to 30th over, I think.
Yeah, Travis Head. It's a long time.
Yeah.
They only batted for 40 overs in the first innings.
Yeah, I know, right?
And they did try and block, right?
They did.
Smith was part of it. Obviously, Smith came in a lot earlier in that first one.
And he played a lot of false shots. I think it's the most false shots he's ever had in a test innings. There was a stat that was coming up everywhere.
Percentage-wise?
Yeah, 48% or something like that.
God, it was that high.
Yeah.
He was doing this thing. I don't know why we're suddenly talking about Smith when Australia haven't even batted yet. But he was doing this thing where he was it was clear to me he was going as far across the stumps as possible to get the single, to get off strike. Sometimes he goes as far across as possible just because it's part of his technique. But it looked like he was trying to do that.
Yeah.
Will Smudge score 400 in this match to win it single-handedly? Well, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's the kind of thing, though, at this stage of it's very hard to see how Australia can make a lot of runs in the series unless Smith makes the bulk of them. And if you go back for a few Ashes, there's been a few Ashes where he's certainly carried the batting lineup. But is he that Smith anymore, right? Like, if he is, he's not a great fourth innings player, so I don't think scoring 400 in the fourth innings, or even like he doesn't have that many hundreds in the fourth innings, right?
But I don't think he has one, does he? It must have been the red inker against West Indies, that's his highest.
I was going to say, what was that,
91 not out, I think. Yeah. I don't think he scored a ton.
So the chances are he's not. I just think he's probably not going to make 400. I don't think Australia's going to have to chase that many, just because people are getting hit still and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. The new ball, I thought, should have probably got an extra wicket, or they should have got an extra wicket as Boland got bowling better on, later on. Sorry, but at the same time, if you bat normally, I still think you could stay in. Like, as you said, there was runs and, they could, I don't think it's like I just don't think it's a 19 wicket pitch. 19 wickets on a day pitch.
Exactly. It definitely didn't feel like that yesterday. And I think England were also, they had this same old code. They just went for it. They could have batted a bit more, when Brook and Smith were batting. They could have probably cashed in a bit more. But I think they just went for the kill, and probably that was not ideal. If they made like 250, then they could have been like far ahead in this match, looking at Australia's batting. So I think they also made some mistakes for sure, and getting bowled out that cheaply, even if with the fast scoring and everything, I don't think that was ideal. And same for Australia. Australia was like, they were not scoring at all, but they also got out early, so it's even worse for them.
Wi-Fi funds, thank you very much. Yeah, I just got to Delhi. I haven't had a chance to be able to go out and get something at the moment. Maybe we'll take a break here and we'll try and go on to Shayan's dongle hotspot.
Yeah.
So Rushline, if you could play a couple of ads back to back, and we'll try and change the Wi-Fi away from the hotel. It looks fine.
Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually, he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now. Ben Duckett does not leave the ball. He goes after everything. That is his signature style. Well, actually, no. Perhaps now he is best known for Duckett's Buckets, his new hat range. I don't know if Herbert Sutcliffe sold his own hats, but I would definitely have bought them if he did. But Ben Duckett does, so you don't need to be left alone without one. Chase down your own Duckett's Buckets today. I once made a pair in a club game, which is almost impossible to do. But I have been obsessed with batting my entire life. And so I put that...
I have no idea if we're back or not. I don't know why Rushline's still playing ads. But he's not playing ads, so we're back. So hopefully we're on Shayan's clip now, and we can see how we go. I can't really... I'm trying to reach the comments here. Here's one. Andy says, is this series looking spooky for Australia, even if Cummins comes back? Head looks like in a different place in his career. Not sure who makes runs. See, it's funny. I've been saying that for ages. I just don't think people have understood that Head isn't in the form that he was in before.
Yeah. Even his white ball form has dipped. He hasn't made runs in a long time now. I think like in the last 3-4 months, which is a lot for a player who has been in form for quite some time, hasn't he?
So I think it's. I mean, if Cummins comes back, things are very different, Andy, because I think, especially on the other pitches, you would assume that it's going to help Hazlewood and it's going to help Cummins quite a lot, and also Boland. Like, I don't think this is exactly Boland's kind of pitch either. It's much more suited to the England bowlers. Like someone like Cass is the kind of bowler that you want on this wicket, more than Boland. But yeah, I think when it comes down to it, there's certainly an element of. Head isn't in that form. It's the same with like Khawaja as well, right? Like there's a lot of players who look good. There is an element of the 2010-11 lineup when you look at it on paper, it actually looks still fairly strong. But the minute like in 40 years' time, someone's going to look back and go, if Australia lose this series badly, how have they lost with Smith, Marnus, Usman, and Head?
Exactly.
Right? But we know that isn't quite the way it works at the moment.
Yeah. Definitely not Marnus, because he's also just come back into the team. He didn't play in the West Indies, if I'm not wrong, did he? I think the WTC final was his last match. He has made some shield runs, so I think that's there. With Travis Head, dude, I think the last summer he was batting really well against India. So he was the game changer in that series. But weirdly, he hasn't made a lot of runs since then. So I think most of that is still white ball cricket. So I think we can't completely rule Travis Head out.
No. I mean, I still think you play a couple of innings and be really important in this. But it's the big difference at the moment is the I think the fear factor is still there, but the consistency of his runs isn't there.
Probably, yeah.
So he might make 2 big scores, and that might be enough to win 2 Test matches.
Yeah.
But what else will we see from him?
No. I think that's fair. And they've also played on some tough wickets, haven't they? They played in the West Indies, so their averages don't look very pretty. I think Steve Smith was averaging like 34 in the WTC final and the 2 matches that he played in the West Indies, and they were all around the 30s. I think even Alex Carey has been pretty good, I think, for the role that he's playing in. We actually discussed him for the most improved player as well, no? But his numbers didn't have that drastic improvement.
You didn't think he was good enough?
I think I should have done the pool stats before and after the pool. When we fell in the Karachi pool.
Yeah. Hey JK, for those missing the Camera Sports Lecture, any chance you would create a video with key takeaways? I'm pretty sure they're putting it up. I think if you go to my Twitter account, they tweeted yesterday that there's a live link to the whole thing. I'm like 80% sure of that, because like very late last night when I was going to bed, I saw a tweet and I just retweeted it because it was from the festival. But I think that's what they was. Well, I've got my Twitter in front of me. Should I just check?
Just check it.
There's so many. Where are we? Tune in for live sessions, panels, and interviews. It says live stream, yeah. So it says live stream on here. So I'm assuming you don't have to come. If you are in Delhi and you want to hang out with Sean, you can. And you can pop over to the festival. We'll be going there not long after this as well. Yeah. But yeah, look, I don't know exactly. It's not a talk. I think it's more of an interview. So I can't tell you exactly what's going on. Keith said, oh God, I just want to put up Keith. Keith said, Jarrod not sounding as confident anymore. I'm no less confident. I thought England were always a big chance of winning this Test match, Keith. I don't know where you've been listening to what I've been saying. I thought this was their best chance of winning a Test match. And if they win this Test match, they've got a huge chance of winning the series. I have said that literally for 2 months. So yeah, I don't know where people get those with it. Who's that guy with you? What's your name?
Shayan Ahmed Khan, guys. Resident expert at good areas.
Also, one of the researchers on the book, and he's obviously here as well for the festival, and he's going to hang out. And we'll be doing videos for the next couple of days. But Cheyenne is the guy who writes a lot of the stuff on the main site. If you're on the Substack, you can see a lot of Cheyenne stuff as well. He's not very good at finding hotels, as I found out this morning. But other than that, very, very competent guy. Sorry, Rakshit, can you bring up some more questions for us? Will they stick with Weatherald or find a way to squeeze Webster in? So I thought, and things changed, and I think one of the big changes is Hazlewood. I think until Hazlewood was injured, I thought there was a really big chance of Marnus opening and who am I thinking? Green staying at number 3, right? And I think once Hazlewood went out, I don't think they felt as comfortable with their side.
Yeah.
And they don't look as good, so they were right to think that way. And so I think at that point they changed. The fact that they haven't bowled Green though much also shows that they're nervous about Green.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw Weatherald out because he's been out once.
Yeah, exactly.
Second ball or whatever it was.
Yeah. And that to Jofra, who's great against left-handers.
But also, like, I think anyone, it's a bit like Zach Crawley. Like, there's a lot of people like already jumping on that, get rid of Zach Crawley bandwagon. He made a duck in both innings. Like, don't get me wrong, there were mistakes in the way he batted in the first innings. The second one, I think the ball just bounced a bit more on him. But when it comes down to it, like, I'm not. Those are not the innings I look for. I more look for when you face like 20 or 25 balls and you don't look how to get through.
That's a better marker of form any day, isn't it?
Exactly. And so for Weatherald, We haven't seen that yet. But personally, it's not about me being pro or anti Weatherald. I wouldn't have picked him because I just think they were at a stronger side if they could have fit Green and Webster in, which would have given them that flexibility. I never thought Lyon was... Remember, if you've been following this channel for ages, I've been saying that I didn't think Lyon was even going to play in some of the test matches. And I think if Cummins and Hazlewood were bowling, I'm not sure they would have picked Lyon, and Webster could have bowled the spin for them if they needed. So I was always kind of that mindset. And if you look at what England did, when England listed the show of Bashir in the 12, I was on with Steve Harmison and Darren Goff going, there's just no way he's playing. It was obvious. And so I think that tells you the difference. But if Australia had their frontline attack, I think Lyon may not have played. So there's still a chance for them to look at that. You know, we're going to have another, I mean, looking at Lyon at the moment, we're going to have another test where Lyon just doesn't bowl all that much. Right? Yeah. Like, he, you know, and this time it might be because he's hurt, because he got hit on the hip. Yeah. He was moving pretty slow out there.
Exactly. I think if he can't bowl, that changes things a lot. Because at least with him, you know that that's one end locked up. Yeah. He's likely to not go for as many runs, although if Brook and James Smith come in, they try and do their thing, they can try to rattle him. But I still think with Lyon, you get that sort of assurance that, okay, you have one bowler, one experienced bowler who can control things. Yeah. Even if it's at bas ball rates, but he can control things to quite an extent. And if they don't have that, I don't know, dude. England can end up making 300 then. Target.
Yeah, and then also, we don't know how much we're going to see Green to bowl.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I mean, at this stage, we're sitting here going, is he going to bowl a lot of overs? Did he bowl 1 over in the first innings?
They barely batted any overs, did they? They didn't even play 40 overs.
No, but didn't he get a wicket and then he's taken out?
Exactly. I'm
trying to remember what he did.
It was a very full ball that he got a wicket off. Must have been Pope.
Yeah, he bowled 1 over. Yeah. So it's they have to make a decision at a certain point. Yeah. On that last question about Lyon, so the thing with a hip injury, and I won't get through and bowl it because I'll freak Cheyenne out if I start showing, but the thing with a hip injury is obviously the rotation and everything and the way that you bowl as a finger spinner, the hip and those parts of the body, the hip and the groin and all those are really, really important because you kind of, pivoting around on yourself. He did not look like he was about to be able to pivot. So even if he does bowl, he might have to go a little bit different later on. Yeah, sorry, we have one more question. I think after this question, if we finish up with any super chat structure, and then we better head off. But, I didn't get a chance. I'm trying to understand Test cricket better. Could you explain the things I should focus on during a session, like field placements, bowling plans, or match situation? What do you do?
I think you just have to try and watch the line and lengths that are being bowled. I think that's the easiest way to look at it. I know field placements are a big part of it, and this is something even I'm struggling with because they don't show it on the broadcast the entire time, do they? Yeah. That's why in the IPL it was pretty handy, I thought. Having the map. The map is the best thing ever, especially for new cricket fans. I would say one of the first things you want to do is look and try and work out how the bowler is trying to get the batter out. And it sounds really simple, but it's one of those things that when we're commentating, I try and mention as much as possible because you really want the audience to understand what the plan is at any one time. So are they going for LBW? Are they going for caught behind? Is it a short ball technique? Do they have the fielders out? Do they have the fielders in? Those are the little rhythms that you're looking for. And then the same with the batters. England are batting at the moment. Are they looking for boundaries or are they looking for strike rotation? So I would say if you look in that last session, they were, I think it might have been Mike Hussey in the commentary was calling it baseball with brains, right? They weren't. There was a couple of times where Duckett was trying to put Boland off, but actually what they were trying to do really is just milk as many runs as they could. Singles. They were rotating the
singles, little twos.
Threes. There were a bunch of threes as well.
So again, you're getting a bit of an idea from England what they're trying to do. Yeah. So they're trying to get the gaps in there and then score some runs from that. Yeah. And then on the other side, what they're trying to do is they're trying to knock Boland off his thing. So there's 4 or 5 different clues.
Yeah, I would say wagon wheels are also pretty handy in understanding how a batter has played. So I think that's personally for me, it's pretty handy, regardless of the format, because it just tells you what zones they're looking to score in, and you can actually match that with the line and lengths that they're batting with, that the ball has been delivered at. So I think that's a pretty handy marker of how a player is actually playing, like what's their approach.
Where are they trying to score?
Where are they trying to score?
Yeah. And so I said, how are you trying to get wickets, and where are you trying to score is probably the other one. So we didn't see Weatherald play, but my guess is with Weatherald, he's going to try and hit the ball square, mostly through drives, and he's going to try and play the pull shot quite a lot. If those are the other ones that we're looking at. Why are stadiums in India bad, and why does the BCCI not fix it? I don't think the BCCI own the stadiums, though, do they? It is actually...
State associations, probably?
Yeah, so it is actually... It is one of these things that is worth noting that I don't think any cricket board in the world owns a cricket stadium. Am I wrong in that? I'm trying to think of some. Maybe Sri Lanka and Pakistan might. I would say most places you would have the local board that would be in charge of it, or someone else, right? Like Lords, for instance, or the MCG is run by the MCG members as well. Like there are grounds like that. So there is that element. But having said that, it is a huge issue. And I know when the 100 came along as well, like my wife would always say, like, we don't need a form of cricket that is aimed at women. We need better facilities for women at cricket grounds already because, whatever. And it's the same when you go to Indian stadiums. You realise that, the BCCI is rich because of Indian fans.
Correct.
And yet, when Indian fans are in the stadium, they're not being looked after.
It's horrible, dude. Honestly, you don't even get basic facilities like water, clean water, that is. And I remember actually there was this relative of mine who had come over from Qatar and he went to watch a day game with me to the stadium. And he was like, I'm never coming back here again. It's unbelievable how bad things can get. I think I can still manage fine because I've lived here, so it's okay for me, okay enough. But no, I think the stadiums really need a lot of work.
I remember, I can't remember, I think it was Mohali. I'm trying to remember, 2016 World Cup. And ICC gave us like little zinc pots, right? To, for obviously, it was part of the marketing or whatever of the event. And they gave us these little zinc pots. And then we traveled with them all around the World Cup. And then when we got to Mohali, they wouldn't let us in with them. And I was just like, but there's, what? Like, what are we talking about here? And little things like that. And it's like trying to get into grounds, like, for
washrooms, dude, they're horrible. It's
Pune's toilets.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a brand new stadium.
Exactly.
Just why are the toilets not better? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's the worst, dude. And it's so far as well from the actual city. But I think that is understandable.
But to get back to my overall point, like, I'm not saying the BCCI shouldn't be trying to fix this, because obviously they should. And the same way that Cricket Australia, should have been trying to deal with some of the issues at the WACA for years, and there were issues at England grounds and everything else. But it is different when you don't own them. Right? If you don't own the ground directly, and so if you're looking at, like, going to see, American sports teams, or English football teams, quite often, not always, but quite often, the ownership group or the group at large will own. So they are directly responsible. So when you go to you go watch a Boston Celtics player, all the stuff, everything is set up perfectly for Boston, and it's their stadium, and that's how they use it. That isn't the case for these cricket grounds. It is more complicated, and it's one of the reasons in general cricket is a lot more complicated. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Oh, wait.
Oh, there's another one.
I'm a bit worried about Australia. It seems there is no talent coming up in their cricket from the 1990s. Never seen a worse fast bowling lineup. Remember, though, that Doggett is like the 6th choice fast bowler.
And he's 31, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's playing
he's not the next gen anyways.
Yeah, he's playing in his first game. I've been saying this for ages. My concern is not that Australia is an aging team. My concern is that there are no young players coming through, right? Like, Constance and McSweeney have been tried. There's a couple of others. There's a couple of younger fast bowlers as well. But yeah, I think the bigger concern with Australian cricket is that for a long period of time, we haven't seen younger players coming through. Is that our stun for Super Chats? Sean, on his first, I don't know what to call this. It's your first morning glory.
Yeah.
Which is probably a name that already makes you feel uncomfortable. And if it doesn't, you'll have to Google it later. It's the first, you've just been on screens forever, and now you're here.
Exactly.
How did it feel?
It's good, man. It's good. I liked it.
All right, we'll probably do another one tomorrow. I don't think we're doing a show after today, only because I've got the Literature Festival. We may be able to do something. We'll probably be a video up on the main site, and there'll be a lot going on there. We were watching the other test match as well, but we... But obviously we had to turn it off for this. But the score is 58 for none after 17 overs. At the start, it looked like India was just bowling byes.
Yeah.
Good balls and byes.
Yeah, there were 2 4-byes in the first 2 overs, right? And then obviously the KL drop as well. I think that's roughly about the point up to which we followed that game. And then they brought Nitish Reddy on, I think, after the 9 overs were bowled. So let's see what they're doing. We'll go and catch up on that game as well next.
We will. If you are in Delhi, come down to the Ekamra Sports Literature Festival. We'll be there. But I've got to go now because I have to see if the Denver Nuggets are going to beat the Houston Rockets. We will see you again very shortly on Good Areas.
Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now.